Hey, my feel good friend, and welcome back to the Feel Good Social podcast. I'm your host, Kinsey, and I am so glad to be in your earbuds as always. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I am super excited to chat with you about Instagram Reels. This is a topic that is super fresh on my mind. A shout out to my client, Blue Moose Metals. I'll get to that in a second because I have been tackling the task of creating Instagram Reels for some of my clients through the holidays. And it has been super fun. It has been a learning experience for sure from my point of view, even as a social media expert. So if you find Reels to be intimidating, if you have been dragging your feet to just create your first Instagram Reel, if you're a little nervous to dive into what Reels are all about, my friend, I want you to know I was right there with you like 2 weeks ago. And also, it's not as scary as it seems. Today, I'm going to be sharing my top tips with you for tackling Instagram Reels, especially for the holidays. And I do have a awesome Reels freebie. Basically, I have measured the length and timing for specific trending audios right now for Instagram Reels to make your life easier. So if you're interested in grabbing my Reels freebie, it's kind of like Reels tutorial freebie, head to feelgoodsocial.com/reels. That's feelgoodsocial.com/REELS. I was like, how the heck do you spell Reels? And just check it out. I have basically outlined different audio that you could use and the different timing, durations to make editing easier and all of these different things, different ideas for 5 different types of Reels that you can create easily right now for your biz. So head to feelgoodsocial.com/reels to check it out, my friend. Okay, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. Hey, friend, and welcome to the Feel Good Social podcast. I'm your host, Kinsey, and I'm here to help you market your business in a genuine way that works without wasting your precious time. On this show, we chat about social media strategy and mindset tips with a focus on, you guessed it, feeling good. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some genuine conversation for the good of your biz. Okay, now before we do dive into my top tips for creating Instagram Reels, I do want to admit something to you right now. I have actually tried to record this episode like 5 times. And this is the 5th time I've tried to record it. I actually sent a different episode to my editor to edit. My friend, I'm getting super vulnerable with you right now and sharing that I'm actually re-recording this episode the day before it's released. And I'm going to edit it myself because I think that firstly, last week I was just having scramble brain hardcore. So if you've been feeling overwhelmed or like you can't focus or like you just don't feel motivated to get things done, you're not alone, my friend. That was me last week. And that is the reason that I'm actually re-recording this episode today, because I want to dish up the very best focused content for you possible. And also I have found it kind of difficult to describe how to use Reels in audio, right? It feels like a very visual process for me. So I just want to say, if you do get confused at all during this episode, if you have any questions or anything like that, definitely hit me up in the DMs on Instagram at Feel Good Social. I would love to chat with you more about this, send you screenshots if you need it of anything that I'm talking about that doesn't make sense. And actually this month, I'm creating Instagram Reels tutorials and tips for my Feel Good Social Club members, which is just going to be so much fun for them, I think. So if you're interested in joining the Feel Good Social Club, definitely head to feelgoodsocial.com/club. This is our new membership for down-to-earth entrepreneurs who are ready to create content with ease. We have a content template library with Canva templates, tutorials, all the things. We have monthly content planning workshops to really help you take action and strategically create content for your business every month. And it's also just a rad community of amazing people who are literally my favorite people in the world who come together to support each other, answer each other's questions, brainstorm content, all the things. So check it out, feelgoodsocial.com/club. Okay, so now let's go ahead and dive into creating Instagram Reels. And like I said in the intro, I got to give a shout out to my client, Blue Moose Metals. They're at Blue Moose Metals on Instagram if you want to check them out. They are just the coolest people ever. It's a family business that creates durable metal handcrafted bottle openers and stoppers that are kind of inspired by their home in Montana, Missoula, Montana, which is actually, fun fact, where I grew up, which I think is why I feel such a kindred spirit toward them, right? But they are so, so cool. And they are the reason that I really, really dove into creating quote unquote trendy holiday reels, and the reason that I'm showing up in today's episode with these hot tips. So check them out. And actually, on the day that this episode is released, which is Giving Tuesday of 2021, it's November 30th. Blue Moose Metals is donating all of the proceeds from their quote unquote dog pooping openers and stoppers to their local humane society. These are the cutest things. And if you have anyone in your life who loves like a spoof joke or a dad poop joke or anything like that, these dog pooping openers are hilarious and awesome and super high quality. And if you purchase their dog pooping products today, they are giving all the proceeds to their local humane society. And the cherry on top that is so, so cool is that they actually went to the Humane Society to drop off some products in preparation for today, for Giving Tuesday, and they adopted a dog. Coda. She is so, so cute. And honestly, like, it's just the most heartwarming story because the reason they wanted to donate to the Humane Society is because Blue Moose Metals is named after their old dog, Moose, who they adopted from a local shelter who passed away this year. And I'm getting goosebumps as I'm saying it. So head to at Blue Moose Metals on Instagram or bluemoosemetals.com to check them out. They're amazing. I love them. And I just had to give them a shout out because I had so much fun creating reels for them this year. And if you give them a follow, you'll be able to see some of the reels that I helped them create this year with these trending audios that I'm sharing in the freebie. So, okay, enough talk. Let's go ahead and dive into my tips for creating Instagram Reels. And I'm going to try to keep these actionable, quick, to the point. So once again, if you have any questions, please reach out to me in the DMs on Instagram. I would love to chat with you, my friend. Okay, so my first tip, and this is something that I learned the hard way, is to do your research first, my friend. This is always a good idea, no matter what the heck you're doing in life, right? Is to do the research about whatever the heck you're trying to do first and not just dive head first into creating whatever the heck you want to create, right? This is something that I fall prey to a lot because I tend to just want to do things and then rewind and try to fix it later. That's just the type of personality I am. But honestly, doing your research first is such a great idea for so many reasons. So what I would recommend that you do is the week that you want to create Instagram Reels for your business, spend 20 to 30 minutes actually just scrolling through Instagram Reels, right? If you just go to the Reels tab in your Instagram app, just start consuming Reels, but consume them with the intention of doing research, right? And not just for the entertainment value and all that stuff. This is important because number one, you can gain ideas and inspiration for reels that you want to create for yourself, right? So I would definitely recommend that as you're scrolling through, keep in mind, oh, what are they doing with this reel? Is this something that I could recreate for my business? How could I take this idea and make it my own and make it make sense for my brand? Think about that as you're scrolling through. I want to recommend that you keep a notebook beside you or like your notes app open and just make a list of things and ideas that you have. Don't limit yourself. Don't edit yourself. This is all about just getting inspiration for yourself. And if you do see any reels that really inspire you, that you would love to recreate, all those things, make sure you save that reel to your saved posts, okay? You can do that by hitting the three dots down in the lower right-hand corner, I believe, unless the app updates once again and things change around stuff. But long story short, you can save individual posts to your save posts, like folder within your Instagram app and all of those things, definitely just Google it if you don't know how to do it, or reach out to me on Instagram. I can totally help you. But save Instagram reels as you're scrolling through that you want to come back to either recreate, or if there's a really great idea or anything like that, make sure you save them so that you can see them again really easily when it comes time for you to create your own reels. And also on top of that, I really want to recommend that you save any trending audio that you see that you want to use for your reels, right? So there's a difference between saving Instagram reels, the post in your save post, and saving audio. At this point in the Instagram platform, as you are consuming reels in full screen mode, if you look down in the lower right-hand corner of your app, you will see a little square button. It's kind of hard. This is why I was having trouble, right? It's kind of hard to describe. So let me know if you need any more help or anything. But at this point, and again, Instagram might change, eye roll, there is a little square in the bottom right-hand corner of your reels as you're consuming them. I think it pulses sometimes, but long story short, that is the audio that people are using. If you tap that, or if you're consuming in feed mode, it's, I think, up top under their little profile name, it says it says whatever the audio is, right? It says like the song, or a lot of times it says original audio by. If you tap that or the little square in the lower right-hand corner, it will take you to the audio that reel is using. And when you go to that screen, you can save the audio. And my friend, this is so, so key for you for recreating reels, and especially using trending audio, because trending audio is one of the ways that you can really boost the performance and visibility of your reels on the platform. Okay. So that is why this is so important, is because not only doing your research to gain inspiration and all of these things, but also to help you make a plan, see what you want to create, and use trending audio in your own reels so that you might be able to boost your performance and visibility on the platform. All these things are working together to make your life easier. And that's why this research part is so, so important. Okay. The last thing I want to say about doing research is definitely make sure that you just look up tutorials for reels. There are tons of them on the platform. Like I said, I also have a freebie for this episode, feelgoodsocial.com/reels. They are 5 kind of reels tutorials that I have created in there for you to help create reels easily for your business right now. They're kind of trendy. So feelgoodsocial.com/reels, go find that freebie, or just search for it in the app itself. If you search for hashtag Instagram reels or hashtag reels tutorial, actually, I might do that one instead, reels tutorial. There will be tons and tons of tutorials that pop up that will help you not only gain inspiration and ideas for reels that you want to create, but also really help you in the process as you create them and help you save time. Okay. So that is tip number 1. Do your research. Make sure that you make a list of content ideas, save any reels that inspire you, save the audio, especially for reels that you want to create and the audio that you want to use. And also make sure that you look up reels tutorials on the platform, because they're so, so helpful, my friend. Okay. Tip number 2, make a batch planning plan. This is something that is very, very helpful for you for saving time. So first things first, I do want to recommend that you, when it comes time to actually create reels for your business, you batch plan those suckers out, okay? By that, I mean, just set aside 2 or 3 hours one week, one day, you know what I mean, to really create reels, multiple reels at a time for your brand that you can then post throughout your month, right? So right now we're coming into December. If you can set aside some time this week or next week and create, 3 or 4 reels and spread them out, you'll have at least 1 reel a week through December, through the holidays. You'll have those already created, so you won't have to think about it as the holiday craziness kicks in, right? So batch plan your reels, batch create your reels. And it's easiest to do that if you set aside a designated 2 to 3 hours and also make a plan before you start, so you can go into it with intention, knowing exactly what you want to do and what you want to create and how you need to create it, right? So when it comes to making your batch planning reels plan, make a list of the reels that you want to create based on your research. You just did 30 minutes of research. Make a list of the specific reels that you're like very excited to create that make the most sense for you, all those things. List them out. Then think, what do I want this to look like exactly? Where do I need to record this? What supplies do I need to gather in order to create this reel? So you can gather all of these supplies beforehand for all the reels that you want to create. Have them right there so that once you get started, it's easier to just dive right in and make it happen. Then I want you to gather your supplies, all those things, set aside the time, and just do the dang thing, my friend. And the one thing that I want to say that I ran into when I was creating reels for Blue Moose Metals is make sure you think about the timing and the lighting. So if you're like me, you might really like to use natural light a lot. I don't really like to use a lot of like overhead lights or anything like that because it kind of like creates this like weird glow or like glare off products or whatever the heck I'm creating, right? And so I really like to use natural light, but guess what? The sun moves. And so it was something that I ran into when I was creating reels for Blue Moose Metals is I started in the afternoon and then all of a sudden the light was shining in our windows like super brightly. And then the shadows were moving too much, like as I was trying to create different shots and all these things, and it wasn't looking right and all the stuff. And so I ended up just kind of like calling it a day and just coming back to it tomorrow in the next morning, right? Because I really wanted to get that like the lighting correct for my space, for my reels that I was creating. So that's something that is just, something to think about as you're planning when you're going to create these reels. Think about where you're going to record them and the light that is going to be occurring in that space, because that is something that I learned, my friend. Okay, so first tip, do your research. Second tip, make a batch planning plan. Third tip, think about your audio and timing. This is something that makes reels super, super fun. A lot of times the trending audio is people edit their videos in certain way to hit in certain beats. If you're a reels consumer, you'll understand what I mean. And this is something that is really difficult to explain in an audio podcast, right? But long story short, different music has different beats, different types of like original audio of people saying different things, have different beats that you need to hit or you need to edit your video so that something appears when someone says a certain word or something like that, right? And so as you are recording your reels, creating your reels, it is really important to keep in mind your audio and timing. And this is where my Reels tutorial freebie can come in super handy because I have outlined the timing durations for each clip that you need to edit in order to hit the right beats for the audio that I suggest, right? So hopefully this makes more sense when you download the freebie. Once again, this is why I have had so much trouble recording this episode, but go to feelgoodsocial.com/reels, check out that freebie. I think you'll see what I mean, but long story short, it's really important to keep in mind the music that you want to use or the audio that you want to use as you are recording your reels so that you can hit those beats correctly, okay? And another thing that I want to say to you too is if you are recording your reels in the app, often people think that they need to record it perfectly first, right? They need to hit the beats perfectly as they record and all those things. But my friend, it's really, really easy to trim down your clips in the Instagram app so that you're making sure that you're hitting your audio beats correctly. So the one thing I want to say to you, and hopefully this is making sense, is as you are recording your reels, as you're thinking about the timing and all those things, remember you don't necessarily need to record it perfectly. You don't need to record your clips perfectly. You can edit your clips, trim your clips on either end to make them work for the audio, okay? So that's just something I ran into as I was creating it. I was like, ooh, I bet a lot of people would think just keep trying to re-record the same clip, and that doesn't need to happen. You can edit the clips afterwards, right? So that's just something to think about. Again, if you have any questions about this, please hit me up on Instagram at feelgoodsocial. I would love to chat with you because it is a little confusing for sure. But I promise once you get into it and you start doing the research, you prep yourself, you start really getting into the recording and all those things, it all comes together and gets easier. Okay. So don't worry about that, my friend. And finally, my fourth tip for recording Instagram Reels, creating Instagram Reels, all those things, is to just have fun with it. You know, this is always going to be one of my tips, right? Reels are meant to be just like fun, entertaining, casual, funny, relatable, all those things. And they're not expected to be perfect. Okay. So the main thing is that you're putting yourself out there, you're trying, you're using, fun audio, you're having fun with your audience, you're creating relatable content for your brand, things that people will remember, things that people will just feel more of a brand affinity toward your brand for, right? And it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? So as you are in the process of creating, it's really easy to get into your head and think, ugh, this sucks. Like, this is not as perfect as the other people's. This is not as great, all those things. I want you to remind yourself to let it go. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just have fun with it. And that energy will transfer to your audience as they watch your reel, and they're gonna love it. I promise. It does not matter if it's perfect. And honestly, practice does make perfect. It will get easier over time. Don't worry. But even if what you're putting out to the platform isn't exactly what you wanted, let it go, because your audience is going to love it no matter what. Okay. So those are my 4 hot tips for creating Instagram Reels. Don't forget to go to Instagram, feelgoodsocial.com/reels. Download my quick Reels tutorial for 5 different audios and content ideas for Instagram Reels that you can easily create right now. I would love for you to download that, and make sure that you hit me up on Instagram at feelgoodsocial and check out our Feel Good Social Club. Like I said, we are an amazing community of awesome people who are there to support each other, help each other brainstorm ideas, answer questions, all the things. I do have a content library with Canva templates and tutorials in there. We also do monthly content planning workshops. I would love to have you join us. It's feelgoodsocial.com/club. Check it out. It is so, so amazing. And it is a very minimal commitment, price-wise, time-wise, all those things for what you get in there. I know you're going to love it. All right, my friend, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will catch you next time I catch you. Thanks so much for listening, my friend. For show notes and a whole lot of other awesome freebies, visit feelgoodsocial.com. Simply go to feelgoodsocial.com for all the goods.